Wanderstop looks like this perfect, beautiful tea shop management game, but there are 6 things I've learned from playing this last month that I wish I knew before I bought it. Today I'm sharing my honest thoughts after spending a month with Wanderstop. Here are 6 things I wish I knew before diving into this enchanting tea brewing adventure. Wanderstop is a game with beautiful charm, but I definitely think there are some ways that the game fell a little short. Don't get me wrong, the visuals are beautiful, the character designs are quirky and expressive, and the dialogue options were so unexpectedly funny to me. And while I don't typically reach for a narrative-heavy game, I am overall happy that I did experience this one. Although there were some parts of the game that I found to be a little disappointing. Not so much to make me never want to play the game again, but enough that I definitely would have thought a little bit harder before buying it had I known ahead of time. Now, for those of you who aren't quite sure what Wanderstop has to offer past the tea shop management part and the darker story, here's just a little bit about it. The tea shop you manage is within a magical forest where you can grow and harvest the ingredients needed for tea, mix them together in the fun little contraption in the tea shop, and along the way learn about the customers and making the teas that they request. Other than those core gameplay mechanics, the game has a few other things to offer, like tidying up, decorating, or just sitting on a bench sipping tea. So you may be thinking, yes, tell me more about all those other things that you can do. Well, that's the thing about Wanderstop. There really isn't much more to it than that. And that brings us to the first thing I wish I knew before playing, and that is, even though I knew the game was meant to be simple, I just didn't expect it for it to be quite as simple as it was. I will say though, the juxtaposition of the game is so spot on. That is exactly why Alta, the character you're playing as, doesn't want to be at the tea shop. That isn't who she is. She's a fighter. She doesn't know how to relax or just sit on a bench or clean some mugs. She's supposed to be the world's greatest championship warrior. So what else is Alta doing in the forest and the tea shop while she figures out who she is and how she wants to move forward? Well, not much else. You may find yourself collecting tea leaves, placing them to dry, returning lost packages to the mail, or interacting with the cute little puffins that you see running around. But all of this is just very simple gameplay, enough to give you something to do while the story unfolds, but not necessarily enough to really make a game if the narrative wasn't a part of it. And after playing this game a while, the simplicity really starts to wear thin. And after finishing the story, it isn't really a game that I would personally pick up again, most likely because the gameplay just doesn't offer enough without the story, which I have already played through. There's little variation in what you can do in the game. The repetition started to feel more like busy work than a meaningful journey, and while I understand the metaphor about how healing isn't linear or exciting, it still made the experience feel kind of dull after a while. Now, the second thing is a much more positive thing that surprised me, and that is, even though I knew Wanderstop was a narrative-driven game, I didn't anticipate just how sharp and witty the dialogue would be. If you're a fan of sarcasm and dry humor, I think you will like this one. The banter in the game did have me smiling from ear to ear most of the game. Speaking of the banter, the characters and their stories were so fun to discover. The game introduces you to about 15 different quirky individuals. Their stories do add some depth and charm to the experience of the game, but again, I do wish there was more to it or more to meet, especially in the beginning of the game. I just kept seeing the same 2 customers over and over again. I am glad they came back and it wasn't just speaking to them once and then you're done. But I think I would have liked for them to be mixed in together a little bit more so you can see a more diverse range of characters with less known about each one, and then slowly getting to know about all of them. So even though this does sound like just complaining about the game, I really did enjoy the characters and how they fit into Alta's story, and I do think that this really is where the game shines for sure. Alright, on to the third thing I wish I knew about the game, and that is to please remember to check your settings. A lot of players have complained about feeling motion sick when using that T contraption, and while that didn't really bother me, I was feeling motion sick when just walking around outside in the forest. So not only is there a motion sickness setting that you can select to help with motion sickness for the T contraption, but you can also adjust the camera movement speed, and that helped me out a ton. It slowed the camera movement all the way down and it made the game way more playable. Definitely check your settings before you start. The fourth thing I wish I knew is that the game doesn't have a true day-night cycle where you would expect to go to sleep, wake up, and then do the same things all over again just in a new day. No, instead you're just endlessly talking to customers, feeling sad about your situation, growing some plants, making some tea, and then a few other small tasks. I guess not having that cycle doesn't really change too much of the game, but it was just odd seeing the game go on and on and on. I feel like in other games, going back to a house to go to sleep gives you a moment to pause, but I guess that's just part of the point in this game to really take advantage of the many different spots where you can sit and drink your tea and take a moment that way. So this isn't really a big make or break of the game, but it definitely made it feel less like other games I usually play, which is that a good thing or a bad thing? I couldn't really say, so I guess I'll just leave that one up to you to decide. Moving on to number 5, the fifth thing I wish I knew is that even though you're free to manage things as you want, there really just aren't enough options for you to explore. If you're someone who loves cozy management games or farming sims, Wanderstop definitely gives you a taste of those, but not a drop more. For example, the farming is more like placing a seed, watering it, and then you're done. There aren't many plant types, and you don't get that many hybrids to create. I think only like 16 maybe total, although the mechanics themselves were very smooth, easy to learn, and enjoyable. It just doesn't quite feel like enough if you're not playing the game for the story. I'm glad it does support the story though, because just being honest, I don't typically play narrative heavy games, and a big reason I did play this one was because of its planting and its tea shop management to give it a little something more. Now, as far as the tea shop management goes, again, it's just a little too simple for me. Other than making the tea, you may find yourself, for example, cleaning mugs. Seriously, all you do is place a cup on a conveyor. It's really cute, but I would have liked maybe even a very easy mini game, or maybe just have me twirl the little stick on a controller or something to give a little bit more engagement there. The same goes for the packages you find laying around. All you do is pick one up and deliver it somewhere, like to the mailbox. I just feel like there is a way that that could have been more immersive. And I know the point of it really is to like get things back. Like you can use items to decorate with, and the items add a little bit more to the story, but I would have liked to see something else there. And again, I know the whole point of the game is to slow down and to relax. I know that it reflects and also story. I get that, which is why I do want to just keep reminding you, overall, I am very happy that I played this game and got to experience it and the story. It was really nice to be able to unwind with after a long day, and it didn't take any brain power to get through, which is very appreciated. I didn't have to Google how to make the hybrid plants or anything that detailed, thankfully. But going back to the mechanics, just a couple other things I would have liked to see more of were the decorating and the photography aspects. I think everyone loves decorating a space in a game and putting things where they want, but in this game, the items disappear when you're moving to a new part of the game, and I'm not sure why they felt the need to do that. I wish those items could have stuck around. It just made it kind of feel like, what's the point when I know it won't be here at the end of it all? I would have also liked to see more customization options for the shop, like why couldn't we change up some of the furniture around the shop or add in some rugs or something? I feel like there are things here that still could have fit the aesthetics of the game, but gave it a little bit more for you to do and decorate with and be involved in the tea shop. I am really happy that we were able to put pictures in the frames around the walls with the images that you take around the place. I did feel like that part was more engaging in the game, and it just let you put a little bit more thought into what you want to put around the walls, plan out your shot, and then put it up. So that was a little bit more enjoyable for me. And the sixth and final thing that I wish I knew about the game is, despite all the criticisms that I have, this game is just so enjoyable and different from other games that I've played, and it will just leave you wanting more of it. More dialogue, more characters, more backstory, and I really want more other cozy games in the space to think like this and develop games that think outside the box. And keep making, of course, the popular games with those other mechanics that everyone loves, but really get creative with the storytelling and adding in voice acting, bring in emotions, and really make a beautiful game. So out of all of these aspects of the game, the thing that really surprised me the most was that the core mechanics of the game you really get early on, and then it stays that way the rest of the game. It's beautiful though, and I highly recommend you check it out. But if you're someone who wants a ton to do and explore, detailed mechanics, a quest list, or tons of customization, and you don't care for the storytelling, then this really won't be for you. Is there anything else that you would like to know about the game? Is there something about it that really is drawing you in or really putting you off? Let me know your thoughts about Wanderstop in the comments below, and don't forget to give this video a like and then subscribe to my channel for more cozy game reviews and more cozy gaming content. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.